Elaine Sutton lives in Taos, where she does a lot of dreaming, canoeing in the moonlight, and solo trips into the wilderness. It says that right here. She has done a lot of that. Back in the day, she worked with Earth Firsters also. More than once, bowling herself to heavy equipment to save the ecosystem. You go! You go!
Yes, and they blew up my car in response.
Blew up your car?
They did.
That's not very nice.
No.
Her poems and stories have appeared in many magazines. Her writing workshops and readings tend toward the luminous. Welcome, Elaine Sutton.
So I'm going to read two pieces, one that's in this book and one that probably should have been in it, but is going to be in, I'm doing a memoir called The Body of Water, and it's a lot of stories kind of similar to this, wilderness, adventure, birthing stories, angel visitations, kind of a spectrum of a life. But we'll start with this. Canoeing through Canyonlands. For years, I had wanted to canoe down the Green River through Canyonlands, but I could never find a friend who had free time when I did. So one day, I just called Texas Riverways in Moab, Utah, and made arrangements. They rent you a canoe, drop you off at Mineral Bottom on the Green River, and they pick you up a week later, 50 miles downstream at Spanish Bottom. Simple. They were surprised I was going alone, suggested that I shouldn't. I assured them I was a great canoeist and it would be easy. The truth was, I'd never been alone in a canoe for more than a few hours. That was on a lake. And certainly not aboard one loaded with supplies, heading off into the wilderness for a week. But I had two weeks free in May. Right about now, actually, is when I went a few years ago. A propensity for risk-taking and a deep desire for solitude. So off I went. I drove for hours to Canyonlands. Canyonlands in Utah is miles and miles of fantastically shaped. Has everybody been there? Do we all know this landscape? It's our neighbor. It's about 8 hours northeast of here. And I make a pilgrimage twice a year, once for backpacking in the spring and then once for canoeing. I continue doing this despite this story. In the fall. Okay. So it's fantastically shaped sandstone arches, slick rock needles and spires, deep canyons, sculpted red rocks millions of years old. I reached Moab at dusk and found Texas. A tall, lanky fellow in a cowboy hat, Grateful Dead t-shirt, and sarong welcomed me. Oh, you're that crazy woman from Taos heading off alone, aren't you? Well, don't do anything stupid and get yourself killed, okay? Okay. Shivering, I pull off my wet shorts and t-shirt, climb naked into my down bag. I read a few pages of Pema Chodron's Wisdom of No Escape. I fall asleep to the sound of the river rising. A few hours later, I awake, and something is wrong. I can feel it. I peer out of the tent. The river is up about 2 feet, but still far enough away. What's that roaring? The bottom of the tent seems to be pulsing. There's water running underneath. Suddenly, I understand. I leap up and out of the tent. I turn around to see a 10-foot wall of water hurtling toward me. For a split second, I am paralyzed, and then my reflexes kick in. I grab the tent and bag, sprint to the far edge of the clearing, and scramble up the sturdiest tree. Water surges over the spot where I was sleeping and swallows it. The torrent of muddy water inhales everything in its path. It lunges at the river and boils into it. All the trees in its wake are uprooted. including the one my canoe was tied to. Now the canoe is swirling in the raging current, filling fast. The red paddle is floating free, circling in its own private eddy. That sounds bad.
Stop there, we'll run
I'm starting to sweat. So now I am up in a willow, naked, shaking, and holding on tight. Lightning strikes the cliff face on the opposite shore. The clatter of falling boulders joins the foaming roar of the river, boom of thunder. The avalanche is over the top. It shifts things from purely dangerous to so dramatic that again I have to laugh. Who would believe this? I wish I had a movie camera and some company. I halfway expect Yahweh to poke his head from behind the cloud and issue instructions for a new religion.